I've leaked that I grew up in the United States Embassy. I worked for the State Department. I know diplomatic protocol when I see it. Everything in the aftermath of the Charlie Hebdo quote-unquote terror attack has been completely opposite of diplomatic protocol. I know diplomatic protocol. What is going on is not diplomatic protocol. Obama bending over backwards and ordering this and that and the other, going and signing, pretending to mourn over somebody that we absolutely have no idea who they are. It's a nobody. It's nobody important. Everybody involved in this, the attack and the victims, are nobody important whatsoever. 72 hours ago, you did not know these people, or however, whenever you're watching this, you did not know these people at all. And I just don't understand how people fall for this over and over again. Now the other shoe has dropped. What am I talking about? The mainstream media. This happened in France, right? The mainstream media is calling for even more militarization of the police inside the United States. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This happened in France, but they want to over-militarize the U.S. police. Be damned that this has nothing to do on a federal level, that the police have nothing to do on a federal level. They're going to completely step over states and states' rights and go to your small Leave It to Beaver town and hand out Uzis to Aunt Bee and Andy. Here we go. Charlie Hebdo terror attack, top conspiracy theories. This morning, the headquarters of the satirical French newspaper Charlie Hebdo were attacked by 3 masked gunmen carrying automatic rifles and a rocket launcher. In the carnage, 12 people were killed, including 2 police officers. These masked gunmen have been now identified by French authorities immediately. They're masked, right? They're masked. I'm looking at the picture right now. They're masked. Sharif Kouachi, Saeed Kouachi, and Hamid Murad. Records show that during the attack, the masked men shouted Islamic slogans like the Takbir and Allahu Akbar. But as the world begins to weigh in, some inconsistencies have come to light as the story grows and narrative develops. Conspiracists have begun to pick apart this narrative, or what most people accept as the truth. Here are the top 5 conspiracy theories surrounding today's attack in downtown Paris. Number 1, it was an inside job. Of course, right? Why was it an inside job? One of the more pervading theories developed is the attack on Charlie Hebdo was somehow an inside job. This is because the masked gunmen knew when to attack the newspaper headquarters and get to high-profile targets. Stephane Charbonnier, pen name Charb, editor, and Jean Cabut, pen name Cabu, said to be the world's highest-paid cartoonist. The 2 now deceased men were slain alongside other staff members during a meeting. Somehow the Islamist assailants knew when to attack the building when the all-important Charlie Hebdo staff would be in there. One of the tweets from Kim Wilshire says, Charlie Hebdo, it was a press day at the magazine, so all important staff were there. Now 10 assassinated along with 2 police officers. And on Reddit, what is interesting is that the newspaper that was attacked had press day that day, and all of the important staff were there, so I would say that this was an assassination. These 2 guys handled the situation like real professionals. So how did the terrorists know when press day was? It's currently unknown. Number 2, it was a false flag. Again, from Reddit. Number 1, timing. Shooters are reacting to a comic that was posted 1 hour before the shooting. Not enough time for the shooters to find the comic, organize, plan, prepare, map, arm, and dress. Listen to that timing. The comic was posted 1 hour before they started shooting. 1 hour, 60 minutes before the first bullet came out. It's impossible. Number 2, the bullet missed the cop's head and made a dust cloud as it ricocheted off the concrete. 3. You don't shoot down at concrete unless you want to be killed by a ricochet. 4. Military prep, military posture, military movement. This was a practiced attack. Number 5. There are no cars driving by in Paris on a work day. I used to live in Paris. I lived in a side street in the middle of Paris. I had to do acrobatics to cross the street in the middle because my house was in the middle of the block, and right across from me was the baker and all the stuff that I used to go and get all the nice little eclairs in at the boulanger, right? Boulangerie. And there was always traffic, always. It didn't let up until the wee hours of the night. All 5 of his theories do make sense except one. Number 1, that is. There's no verifiable information that states that the gunmen were attacking Charlie Hebdo headquarters for a comic depicting Muhammad that was posted today. The last comic posted by Charlie Hebdo before the attack was a comic depicting ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. But the official story says that that's exactly what happened, that they are attacking because of a comic that they drew 1 hour earlier. This thing contradicts the Islamists had ties to Al-Qaeda and not ISIS. Furthermore, staff of the newspaper had been under police protection intermittently in the past, and in 2013, Charb was on an Al-Qaeda hit list. Still watching the video on how methodical the attack was, and the fact that there was no visible traffic in downtown Paris does raise questions. And as for where the guns were aimed and where the bullets hit when executing the cop or not executing the cop, if you believe in false flag setups, you can be the judge of that by watching the video. Number 3, the CIA and Mossad are involved. You can't explore false flag theory without bringing up secret agencies like the Central Intelligence Agency of the USA or the Mossad of Israel. What conspiracists are most comparing today's attack is to the 2008 Mumbai attacks, of which a popular theory gained ground that the CIA and Mossad were somehow behind the terrorism. If you don't remember, the Mumbai attacks were a series of 12 coordinated attacks in late November 2008. You may best remember the attack on the Taj Mahal Palace and Tower, or the attack on the Narama House, a Jewish community center. In this 4-day siege of terrorism, 166 people were killed. On the subject, the Times of India reports, quote, the terrorists came at least sometime before 11/26. They created a hub in Narimam House. Neighbors have said that they noticed the presence of some strangers a few days before the attack, said the well-known Urdu journalist, in an effort to link the Mumbai attacks to a conspiracy involving Jews. Naram House is owned by a Jewish sect. According to him, terrorists ordered large amounts of mutton and other provisions to last for several days. He also added that it was impossible to stash such arms and ammunition in the Taj Hotel without having checked in for some time. Why isn't the guest list being checked? The terrorists would have received some support from within the hotel, he said. End of quote. It's worth remembering that in today's attacks, automatic rifles and a rocket launcher were used by the gunmen. How these men obtained military-grade assault weapons is a mystery, if you assume that they are not CIA or Mossad. What world agenda today's attacks is pushing is a mystery, but it wouldn't be the first time that secret government organizations have been accused of planning terrorism. Both American and Israeli governments have a long history of covert operations that border on terrorism. Number 4, perpetual war. While there may be no Illuminati, many people do believe that there is a secret group of individuals that have a lot of influence on world events. And many people do believe that they sponsor terrorism to help keep the more progressive people of the world in check. While there are theories that the world powers are behind the rise of ISIS, It's not hard to believe that these same world powers are funding ideological groups like Al-Qaeda and other jihadists too. Fear is a big driver for war, and war makes people rich. Terrorism is a great way to justify war. It could even be argued World War I instigator Galvera Princip was a terrorist when he shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So, what could the secret world powers be up to? Number 5. Yemen. It's been revealed that Sharif Kouachi, Saeed Kouachi, and Hamid Murad have Yemeni terrorist connections. While if this is true or not, establishing this as a media means all eyes will be on Yemen now. What could the world want with Yemen? Here's a report from January 5, 2010 titled, "The Yemen Hidden Agenda Behind the Al-Qaeda Scenarios, a Strategic Oil Transit Choke Point from the Center of Research on Globalization, courtesy of InfoWars." Quote, "The strategic significance of the region between Yemen and Somalia becomes a point of geopolitical interest. It is the site of Bab el-Mandab, one of what the U.S. government lists as 7 strategic world oil shipping choke points. The U.S. Government Energy Information Agency states that closure of the Bab el-Mandab could keep tankers from the Persian Gulf from reaching the Suez Canal, Sumed pipeline complex, diverting them around the southern tip of Africa. The Strait of Bab el-Mandab is a choke point between the Horn of Africa and the Middle East, and a strategic link between the Mediterranean Sea and Indian Ocean. An excuse for a U.S. or NATO militarization of the waters around Bab el-Mandab would give Washington another major link in its pursuit of control of the 7 most critical oil choke points around the world, a major part of any future U.S. strategy aimed at denying oil flows to China, the EU, or any region or country that opposes U.S. policy. Given that significant flows of Saudi oil pass through Bab el-Mandab, a U.S. military control there would serve to deter the Saudi kingdom from becoming serious about transacting future oil sales with China or other no longer in dollars, as was recently reported by UK independent journalist Robert Fisk. In addition to its geopolitical position as a major global oil transit choke point, Yemen is reported to hold some of the world's greatest untapped oil reserves. Yemen's Masila Basin and Shabwa Basin are reported by international oil companies to contain, quote, world-class discoveries. France's Total and several smaller international oil companies are engaged in developing Yemen's oil production. Some 15 years ago, I was told in a private meeting with a well-informed Washington insider that Yemen contained enough undeveloped oil to fill the oil demand of the entire world for the next 50 years. Perhaps there is more to Washington's recent Yemen concern than a ragtag Al-Qaeda whose very existence as a global terror organization has been doubted by seasoned Islamic experts. Unquote. Have you noticed how cheap oil is recently? The men behind oil production are losing money as the United States and other industrialized countries see a near surplus of it. By invading Yemen to, quote, root out Al-Qaeda, corporations will be able to lay claim to Yemen lands with oil and be able to dictate the market even more. And there you have it. Now, I see the picture of the people that they say are the perpetrators, and I'm looking at the pictures of the terrorists. They have close-up of these people are white, right? I'm looking at the terrorists, and they look like my cousins. What does that mean? My cousins are red bones. They're yellow. They're tanned black people. You know, they're black in features, but they're the color of the sun. You know, they're not white people. They're not Scandinavian. This guy has pink flesh. I'm looking right at him. There's no way that this guy holding this rifle is the same person as the people that they're saying are the quote unquote. I would love to hear some audio if they were really yelling out all of these Islamic threats. I would love to hear some audio because I have a very good ear for languages since I speak so many. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. Do you believe that it was a false flag?